So one of the questions I get asked about quite often is these trainers. Which are the best ones to use and why? Well, the answer quite simply to that, and I'm going to ruin the whole talk now, is whichever ones are the most comfortable for you. But in saying that, there's a few things that we need to take into consideration. That is, what are you going to be using the trainers for? So for me, what I've learned through the years is it's all about what's going on the bottom of the trainer, not necessarily anywhere else around the trainer. So it's all about the tread of the trainer. So much like car tyres, trainers have different treads depending on what you do. So we all know with Formula One that sometimes they have their wet tyres on and sometimes they have their dry tyres on. And that depends on the amount of slick that's going with them. So if it's raining, then the tread needs to get the water out as fast as possible when it comes to Formula One. When it comes to trainers, it's not much different, to be honest. Trainers are designed to have stability in the bottom. So these particular trainers, the majority is going up and sideways. This is designed so that the trainer has a heel-toe fall so the water can travel straight through the trainer and get out. It's designed not to rotate too much from side to side. Now, for instance, let's have a look at a tennis trainer or a basketball trainer. What you'll often find is about here on the trainer is a circle, which is a pivot point. So depending on what you're using your trainers for will depend on what you want on the bottom of your trainer. If you're out running or working out in a gym, you'll probably want some sort of cross trainer or running trainer because the sole of the foot allows the sole of the trainer allows the trainer to move in those directions. When it comes to dance classes, then we want a trainer that's got a pivot point on it because of the twist that we have in our feet. It reduces the amount of control that the shoe has on the floor. Now, the more it can twist, the less problem that it's going to have to our knees. And certainly in dance, and certainly in Latin, there's an awful lot of twisting that will happen with the feet from side to side. The other thing that I've noticed is that certain companies seem to have a different width fitting, which will depend on you. So I've noticed that Reebok trainers have quite a wide foot fitting. So across the front of the foot, they're definitely quite wide along here, whereas Nike are much more narrow. So you know yourself whether your foot is quite narrow or quite wide, which one is best for you. Trainers do only last about 100 hours of impact work. After that period of time, trainers start to lose the amount of cushioning that the soles of the trainer have. I've started to learn from experience that when I get a new pair of trainers, that I actually write on them somewhere the date that I got them so I can figure out how many hours that they've done, depending on what I'm doing with them. I also have different trainers for different things. So one of the most important things that I differentiate with my trainers is the ones that I'm walking around with on the beach today, the ones that I go running with. But most importantly are the ones that I walk around with. They're just for walking around. They're sometimes my old trainers, but I want to keep new trainers for training because they have more cushioning, which will look after my joints, my ankle joint, my knee joint, my hip joint, and up into my back joint. The more cushioning there is, like the suspension in a car, the better it is for your joints. For me personally, I know that when the cushioning is beginning to go, I generally start to get ankle, knee or hip pain starts to kick in after using them, and that's usually my indication that I need some new ones. So the answer is the pair that feel best for you, but check the bottom, make sure that if they need to swivel, they have a pivot point that they can swivel. If running, then it needs to have a decent tread that allows you to move straight forward.